So one of my coaches had given me a challenge to post this video with my own personal story, and I am definitely not used to sharing this extremely personal and vulnerable stuff about my life on video. So I've definitely been putting it off, and I really didn't do it for a while. But when I woke up this morning, I knew it was the time to share this type of stuff. So here we go. Here's my story. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to help and serve people. I really wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. I just knew that I needed to help other people. I found that when I got into the teaching and fitness profession, that it was definitely a great way for me to achieve that goal. And because I was able to help a lot of people teaching, and really when you're in the health profession, you're able to do physical fitness and nutrition and mindset stuff and more. And all of that stuff has a drastic life-changing effect. If you can help people in improving their health, it really improves their whole life. And that's one of the main reasons I fell madly in love with the fitness and health profession. However, one of the hardest parts of being in the fitness profession is there's kind of a dogma that you have to look a certain way and be the ultimate pillar of health. And for many years, I felt like showing others that I was dealing with health challenges and letting people see my vulnerability, that would be a sign of weakness, and it would affect my credibility and ultimately my ability to help others. I know now that, of course, that's silly, but it was definitely hard to come to that realization. I didn't always have health challenges. When I first started teaching and getting my master's and building my fitness program, I really felt unstoppable. I was doing a ton of learning, a ton of personal development, and I was taking a ton of action, really hustling to try to grow my business. And there were definitely ups and downs, but I felt like things were going in the right direction. Now, little did I know that my whole life and health were going to drastically change in an instant. After my wife and I got married, we were living in an apartment where I got a pretty bad sinus infection. And I waited a month before I just really couldn't handle it anymore. So I decided to take antibiotics, and they unfortunately didn't really work. And I realized when I was packing for our honeymoon that the sinus infection was caused by mold in the walls of our bedroom. Super fun, I know. And so when we got back from our honeymoon, we decided to find a new apartment, and we immediately moved. But health-wise, something definitely had changed inside of me, and I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. So being a young, busy guy, I really didn't pay enough attention to the fact that over the next year, I definitely had a lot more fatigue, and my sinuses were much worse, and I was constantly starting to crave sugar, and just some other symptoms were coming up. And then I had another sinus infection that summer. Unfortunately, I felt once again that after a month and a half, I had to take antibiotics because it just wouldn't go away. After that, my fatigue continued, but again, everything in life was going in the right direction other than my health, and I didn't pay any mind to it. Then in November 2013, my fitness program had grown so much and we were doing really well. So we decided to open a fitness facility, and literally in the same month, my son was born. So of course I went into like super hustle mode and spent a ton of time growing my business, and I was still teaching full time, and all that of course would take a toll on anyone's health. I definitely found myself more fatigued. So of course I just did what anyone would do. I just started drinking coffee every day to keep up with life. And the final straw that broke the camel's back for my health happened in January 2015. I had one more sinus infection and I waited a month and a half, and it just didn't get any better. So I took antibiotics one more time because I just was so desperate and I just didn't know what else to do. That would be the last time I would ever take antibiotics, because it got rid of the sinus infection, but everything else got drastically worse health-wise. I developed chronic postnasal drip. I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. I went from 195 to about 165. I got bloating, extreme adrenal fatigue, blood sugar issues, mood swings, craved sugar a ton, and brain fog, many more symptoms. But at that point, it was so bad that I just needed to figure out what was going on. So I went to a gastroenterologist and I got an upper endoscopy. That's when they take a camera and just put it down your throat and they see what's going on inside of your gastrointestinal system in your stomach. And the results showed that I had an overgrowth of Candida and H. pylori, which aren't a huge problem if they're kept in balance in your gut. But my gut flora had gotten out of balance because of antibiotics. And antibiotics kill the good and bad bacteria in the gut, and anything that it doesn't kill takes over. And Candida and H. pylori decided to take over, and it was causing me a ton of problems. Now, you will never guess the main way that doctors treat both of these issues. You guessed it, antibiotics. And I just thought that was absolutely insane to give high doses of antibiotics to cure something that was caused by an overuse of antibiotics. So at that point, I began my insane journey to learn everything possible about the gastrointestinal system and how to heal myself naturally without antibiotics. However, because I was a full-time teacher and ran the fitness facility, at that point had about 100 members, and I had a 1-year-old, and I really didn't feel good pretty much all the time because of my health issues. It made researching all of that and juggling everything else very, very tricky. Nevertheless, over the next 2 years, I would definitely learn more than anyone could ever want to know about Candida and H. pylori and really the whole gastrointestinal system. I've probably spent about 10,000 hours researching all that stuff. And during this time, I experienced every kind of symptom. And I tried every kind of cure and snake oil and diet and all that stuff. But I would have to say the hardest part was trying to be the fun, easygoing, indestructible health professional that I thought people expected, and continue to serve all of my students, my fitness facility, my family. Then when I didn't think anything could get worse, in February 2016, our world just got flipped right upside down even more. My wife and I experienced our first miscarriage, and it was absolutely devastating to us. And I have to say the two hardest parts of the miscarriage for me personally was, of course, losing our baby, but also seeing how much it devastated my wife. And I can't explain how powerless I felt and how I couldn't help it, because it wasn't a fixable situation. It was definitely the most helpless I've ever felt to that date. Over the next 6 months, the loss of that baby definitely loomed, and at that time I had to pick myself up and put on a smile and keep pushing, because I had a business to run. And at that point we had reached an all-time high in our business. We were serving upwards of 150 people, and it was amazing to see my dream of building a successful fitness facility transform into a reality. I was able to do what I loved and help a ton of people improve their health. But then in early August 2016, my wife and I received what I would consider the final knockout punch. We experienced our second miscarriage, and on the same day we were going to the hospital to get it taken care of, and one of our head coaches at our fitness facility quit via text in the middle of a session and just left without any warning. So after I brought Corinne home and I got her situated, I had to leave her curled up in a ball on the couch sobbing to go deal with my fitness facility. And that day will haunt me forever. No one should ever have to leave the ones they love in their darkest hour to go deal with business. Period. Shouldn't happen. And at that moment, I knew something had to drastically change. So when we went on vacation the next week, and Corinne and I were sitting out on that dock out there, I came to the hardest realization ever. I knew I needed to close my fitness facility so I could spend more time with my family and furthermore get my health back. That was a year ago today. And during this last year, I did have to close my fitness facility, which was hands down one of the hardest, saddest things I have ever had to do, because that place was such a big piece of me, and I had so many members that I absolutely loved serving. But I truly believe that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And out of all those challenges over the past 3 years, there had been so many valuable lessons that I learned. I learned that our own health is something that we should never take for granted. Even though I had an immaculate diet and exercise habits, I learned that without stress reduction and mindset work and spending more time with family and friends, I could never really reach my goals or be happy. So over the past year, I've developed an amazing stress reduction program and practice, really working on taking care of the stress in my life through yoga, meditation, many other pieces. And I have taken some amazing mindset courses and been able to spend way more time with my wife and son, all of which are just the most amazing gifts to be able to do all those things and really get that part of my life back. I've improved my health a ton, and these experiences led me to know that I needed to develop something for other people that have been through or going through things like me. So I created an online life transformation program which focuses on fitness and nutrition, but also an extreme huge part of the program is stress reduction and mindset work and enhancing relationships. So even though I don't have a facility anymore, I am now able to continue and help and serve people in an even better capacity, because people can access this program online anywhere at any time, all over the world, which is awesome. And as hard as it is to share my challenges with all of you like this, I feel like it is really important to share and let go. And I hope my story helps other people understand that being vulnerable and going through health struggles has made me a much, much better health and wellness professional. I now am able to serve people with struggles with gastrointestinal issues that I would have never been able to serve if I had never gone through what I went through. And I want people to know that I really don't want people to feel sorry or send condolences for all these challenges and miscarriages. And I really didn't record this for that reason at all. Everybody goes through or is going through something difficult in their lives, and even people you think have it all together are probably dealing with something, and you might not even know about it. My biggest takeaway from all of this is, number one, respect your gut. Take care of your gut flora, because it's where most of your immune system lives, and it is the key to optimal health. If your gut is not healthy, you will not be healthy. Number two, be kind to everyone, because you never know what they could be going through. And lastly, when you are making a drastic life and health change, it does tend to seem and get worse and harder, but it will get better. And that was definitely the case with my gastrointestinal issues, but it is totally possible to heal yourself naturally. And I don't ever want you to give up, and know that if you need me, I'm here for you. And I thank you for listening, and I appreciate it.